Humpty Dumpty, the rhyme, the egg and the Colchester canon theory. Hello lovely people and welcome back to English with Richard. Today we're taking a nursery rhyme we have known for years and we are giving it a proper historical glow up. We're looking at Humpty Dumpty, why we picture him as an egg, how Lewis Carroll cemented that image and why some people argue he may have been a cannon on the walls of Colchester during a brutal Civil War siege. So let's learn and grow. Let's dive in. Okay, the nursery rhyme and the famous 4 lines. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty back together again. Simple on the surface, but surprisingly deep once you start tugging at the threads. Meaning, literal and figurative. Literal. Something fails, something falls, something breaks and cannot be repaired, even with the full force of royal resources. Figurative, a modern use. A Humpty Dumpty situation is one where damage is irreversible. Recovery is impossible or wildly unrealistic. The original state cannot be restored, no matter how hard you try. Example, once trust disintegrates, rebuilding it cannot feel like a Humpty Dumpty task. Why do we think Humpty Dumpty is an egg? Here's the key point. The rhyme never says egg, so why does almost everyone imagine an egg? Step 1. Humpty Dumpty as a riddle. Historically, Humpty Dumpty was widely used as a riddle, and the answer was typically an egg. Fragile, unstable, and once broken, not exactly repairable. Step 2. Lewis Carroll makes the egg iconic. Then comes the pop culture sledgehammer, Lewis Carroll. In Through the Looking Glass, the companion to Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, Alice meets Humpty Dumpty and he is portrayed unmistakably as a large egg-shaped figure, perched up high and speaking with enormous confidence, especially about language and meaning. That portrayal did 2 things. It locked in the egg image for public imagination. It turned Humpty Dumpty into a symbol not only of fragility but also of language, identity and interpretation. So while the rhyme didn't start as the egg rhyme, Carroll effectively made it the egg rhyme for generations to come. Why Colchester matters. A continuous military town. Now let's pivot to the history spine of today's episode, Colchester. A place with a deeply militarised identity across centuries. Roman military origins in the 1st century AD. Colchester began as Camalodunum, the first Roman capital of Britain. A Roman legionary fortress and front line base during conquest. Permanent soldiers stationed there, defensive walls still visible today. A strategic control point in eastern Britain. 2. Norman and medieval stronghold. After 1066, the Normans built Colchester Castle, one of Europe's largest keeps designed for defensive control, used to suppress rebellions, central to Norman authority in Essex. English Civil War, an 11-week siege. This is the moment that fuels the canon theory. In 1648, Colchester was a royalist stronghold, besieged for 11 weeks by parliamentarian forces, punished by severe military conflict and lasting damage. This siege helped cement Colchester's reputation as a strategic military town, and it provides a plausible setting for the Humpty Dumpty as a canon interpretation. Modern British Army garrison. Even today, Colchester remains an active garrison town, home to the 16 Air Assault Brigade Combat Team, one of the largest permanent garrisons in the UK, known for airborne and rapid deployment capability. So when people link Humpty Dumpty to Colchester, they're linking it to a place that has been military by design for nearly 2 millennia. The siege cannon theory. This theory suggests Humpty Dumpty may have been a cannon, not a character, potentially one placed on Colchester's defensive structures during the 1648 siege. Watch how cleanly the rhyme maps onto 17th century siege reality. Sat on a wall, a cannon mounted on fortifications, had a great fall, artillery falls during bombardment or structural collapse. All the king's horses and all the king's men, royalist troops, engineers and manpower trying to recover it. Couldn't put Humpty together again. If a cannon shattered or its carriage splintered, it could become irreparable in the middle of war. And this is where the word siege becomes essential. In siege warfare, a single loss of heavy artillery can be strategically catastrophic because it is not just broken metal, it's lost firepower, lost morale and lost defence. Now, is this theory proven beyond doubt? Not definitively, but it is historically plausible, absolutely, especially given Colchester's 1648 siege and its long tradition of military fortification. A short story. The walls had held for weeks. Smoke clung to the stone like a second skin. Then in the chaos of the siege, the great cannon shifted, slipped and crashed to the ground. Shattered beyond repair. Horses strained, ropes snapped, men shouted orders into the noise, but the truth was brutal. Once it fell, it was finished. And once it was finished, the defence was weakened. Humpty Dumpty wasn't a nursery rhyme yet, but the story had already happened. Some vocabulary from this list. Siege. A military operation where a place is surrounded to force surrender by cutting supplies and applying pressure. Irreparable. Impossible to repair or restore. Irretrievable. Impossible to recover, lost permanently. Disintegration. The process of breaking apart or collapsing, physically or metaphorically. A brief summary. Humpty Dumpty began as a short rhyme and like a riddle. But the egg image was cemented by Lewis Carroll in Through the Looking Glass. Meanwhile, the siege cannon theory, especially the Colchester 1648 connection, offers a powerful alternative reading. Not breakfast fragility, but strategic collapse under siege pressure. So, next time you hear Humpty Dumpty, remember, you're not just hearing a children's rhyme, you're hearing a story shaped by riddles, literature, and possibly even siege warfare. Stay curious, keep digging into history behind the language, and as always, see you on the flip side. Ta-ra a bit.